Hey again, for like the third time. So, I totally forgot to answer the bonus question and ended up making another video earlier, which referred to the bonus question or talked about that for a little bit. So, I'm actually going to tack that onto the end. It's a bonus. It's a bonus. It's more things on the end. Like cashew. To keep with this theme of eating things. Surprise! Cashews. And the rest of the video. Bonus. Yeah, so I think that people that generally receive the most prejudice, I think, are people of color. Basically, anyone who is not white will probably face all kinds of racism and horrible shit that I don't honestly understand, because I do have a white-skinned body. I'm Caucasian, and in this potentially racist kind of society, I don't really see it because I don't experience it myself, and I don't necessarily try to actively educate myself on things. I just tend to be aware of that and do my best to be respectful to all human beings. So yeah, so that's what I can do about that at a personal level. Yeah, so then there are so that's one group, is just people of kind of races other than white, and then I guess I would kind of also say, sort of in keeping with that, it's people that are generally like foreign or foreigners from other countries, or like if you were just generally wherever you're kind of a racial or any other kind of way a minority, you'll probably face a lot of prejudice. So people of color, foreigners, people who like immigrate to different countries that are not their sort of native country or something like that, will probably face some prejudices. And I think this does apply to queer community in a way, because obviously being queer does not exclude one from facing these other kinds of prejudice and like social, economic prejudice and things like that. So yeah, in the area that I'm in particularly, there is not really a queer community, so I feel particularly isolated myself, and that's difficult. So yeah, I also am not particularly well off, although I do well to save money on things, but that certainly affects me. So one of the ways that I'm personally affected by these kinds of things is that I feel, as far as like gender and sexuality goes, most people don't understand my gender, although I have been getting out and talking with people lately. I even a couple times introduced myself once I felt like I could trust a certain person. I introduced myself with my name, Andria, rather than another name which I sometimes use, which is kind of an old name. So and that went well both of the times that I did that, so that was interesting. But I guess this is just kind of an aside as far as how I can be treated. So I think I've generally been pretty well received, but I still feel completely misunderstood and not represented really at all. So there's generally a lack of education about things that queer people might experience, that leads people to not understand, and so that's difficult. Does this make sense? I haven't particularly thought this out in particular, so I'm just kind of speaking about these things as they come up. Let me look at the question a little bit again. Well, yeah, one of the major ways that I experience some prejudice, and that I see others experience prejudice as well, is with respect to healthcare, especially as a trans person, and also people that are intersex. So those are both groups that I'd like to mention as well. Trans people and intersex people are largely ignored, and kind of can face some horrible, cruel dehumanizing kind of treatments, and generally be kind of ignored and things like that, especially by the medical system, or they have to jump through a lot of ridiculous flaming hoops in order to get things which they need. So yeah, so as a trans person as well as a genderqueer person, I do feel like I definitely face that, and I currently don't have a doctor and haven't had one for several years, so that can be kind of shitty. Anyways, that's definitely something which kind of has an effect on me, but yeah, I do what I can. So I think that that's definitely something which can face trans people, and just generally, like, gender variancy is not well understood, and that can be difficult. So I guess another thing, which is sort of out of the blue and doesn't really transition into it well, but another thing I think is really important is that there's still a widespread misunderstanding of some things, and I think it's very fundamentally important that people educate people about the difference between gender, bodies, and sexuality, because these things are different, and this is really kind of fundamental as far as I'm concerned, and it's the kind of thing that I would get sick of educating people about, and I have seen some people actually lately talk about these things in really good ways, and I really greatly appreciate that. I think it's fantastic. So the more people that can do that, which can include cis people, you can do that, the more people that can educate people about these basic things, and also generally like sex positivity and things like that, I think is really helpful for reducing stigmas and prejudices against people of varying sexualities and genders and races and things like that, and bodies. So yeah, I think education largely is the way to deal with these things, which is kind of a broad, vague way to put it, but I think how that plays out is that it takes people speaking out, like in the ways like that we do on Genderqueerchat, to speak out and to form groups and be supportive to each other, and also speak about the things which we face, and bring out issues which we feel are important, and sort of, hey, can you use this language instead, and things like that, and to have that respected and listened to by people that kind of have more privilege, if you will, would be really helpful, and that's how we can generally educate people, and having those people educate the populace that can about certain things, like the differences between bodies and gender and sexuality. The more that people can do that kind of thing, the better. So spreading common sense knowledge, at least as I would like to see it, could be a good thing, especially in this culture that I find myself in, which seems fairly uneducated these days, which is just a failure of the educational system. But anyway, yeah, so trans people that are gender variant, I think there's also particular kinds of prejudice that bisexual people face, because I think there's just weird shit going on as far as people denying their sexuality and things like that, which is just like, what the fuck to me. But people will kind of try to do that, so yeah, as a kind of sexually fluid person, or have a kind of fluid sexuality, and maybe I'm kind of pansexual, I think that is something I can kind of face, but I don't particularly talk about my sexuality with most people in the world, so I don't know. But I do acknowledge, I do acknowledge though that people face that kind of thing, and they should be listened to and respected, and not have their experiences denied and things like that. So yeah, I think that's kind of what I have to say on that. The other group that I wanted to briefly mention is asexual people, because they don't always get a mention, and I think that's very important as well. So yes, asexual people also exist, and there's a forum called Avon, which is a wonderful place that has lots and lots of people and good discussions and things. I used to go there sometimes, and they were really awesome. So yeah, that's a good resource. They even have a chat and things, which is fun. yep, so I think that's that. My video is fucking 16 minutes long now, so kind of screwed. I might not upload. Hopefully it will. So, yes, I think that's about it for this video. Yeah, alright, thanks very much for listening. I hope you guys will be doing well, and that people can glean something from this excessively long video. Didn't mean for it to be so long. Anyways, alright, that's what I gotta say. So, take care. Hey again, for like the third time. So, I totally forgot to answer the bonus question and ended up making another video earlier which referred to the bonus question or talked about that for a little bit. So, I'm actually going to tack that onto the end. It's a bonus. It's a bonus. It's more things on the end. I mean, a cashew. To keep with this theme of eating things. Surprise! Cashews. And the rest of the video. Bonus. And the bonus is, are you afraid of heights? Which I actually forgot to mention in my last video. So am I afraid of heights? I don't know. I haven't been to great heights lately, but I would probably be a little bit freaked out. But I also distinctly remember for a long time in my life liking that. Like, I liked that feeling of like from heights when you just look down from a height and I'm like, ah. So I actually liked that for a while. I don't know how I'd feel about it now. I'd probably be strangely indifferent to it, actually. Yeah, so that's my answer to the bonus question. That's a fun one. Ta-da! The end. So that's the end of it. That's all my little video clips for this week. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and hope you'll have a great rest of the week and everything. And feel free to leave comments and any video responses and things like that. I think you know, I think I speak for everyone when I say we're always happy to connect with the community and hear from you guys. So yeah, hope you're all doing well. Alright, peace.